The results of the preliminary investigation. Okay? That's part of it. How do we get to that point? To a PI. Everybody needs to know the point of a PI. Preliminary inquiry. Anyone? No? PI is something that I can investigate to determine whether or not there's something else going on where I need to become an investigation. And the reason why we're here right now is because some of you submitted some any mice, any mouses, I don't care what you call it. Thank you for using that. That's what it's there for. There's some concerning things going on in your section. Yours is the only section that we have. We're effed up. You guys are effed up. And I'm shaking because I'm freaking pissed off at you guys. And it's not all of you. But like, what the F is wrong with you people? Some of you do not deserve to wear the eagle of an anchor. There's a great deal of you who have such amazing future potential, not just in the Marine Corps, but in life. You are going to do some great things. Some of you are selfish. You're entitled. And you're the most disloyal people I've ever met. You submitted any mouse to me and like, hey, something's going on. We need your help. What you don't do is you MF me when you're looking for my help. Is anybody tracking what I'm talking about? You have no idea what I'm talking about.
I don't know what you mean, sir, when you say MF, you like specifically.
Well, let's go to the manual for courts martial. Disrespect toward a superior commissioned officer. What could that entail? And you don't have a rhetorical question, but just think about it. There's another one that's disrespect towards a warrant officer, or a non-commissioned officer, or staff non-commissioned officer. I have reason to believe that there are things going on in your section that have completely eroded good order and discipline in this section. Not anywhere else, just here. Which is really freaking surprising because we have meritorious promotees coming out of here. We have Marines of the Year coming out of here. We've got Firefighters of the Year coming out of here. We've got people getting awards left and right. And yet, you got all kinds of people stabbing each other in the back. Talking shit about other people. Some of you are a disgrace to the uniform. That's all I'm going to say. It is disappointing to say the least. And I expect more. And you can say whatever you want about me, but if you start saying it to your junior enlisted, I have a problem with that. That is erosion of good order and discipline, and you do not deserve to be here. There will be changes to your leadership. And that's through every rank. So if you're a sergeant right now, you can expect you may be being led by a corporal. Because I've lost trust and confidence in the way that some of you are able to perform your duties. It's sickening to me. And you guys want to sit, some of you want to sit and point fingers. And it's natural as a human being to want to figure out, try to place blame on whatever's going on here. But take a look in the fucking mirror. You're part of the problem. Some of you need to step up. Some of you sergeants need to step up and start acting like staff NCOs. And you shouldn't have to, but you need to. Some of you corporals need to take the place of your freaking sergeants because they're Some of them are just doing shitty. And I told myself I was going to come over here, I was going to be calm and collected and just kind of lay out the facts. I'm looking every one of you in the face. Because some of you have shit to say. Because some of you are freaking cowards. Some of you, you're going to be good ones. You're going to be real good ones. And people should be striving to emulate your example. The others need to go bye-bye. Some of you need to go away. And some of you may find yourselves going away. I got 4 Any Mouses in the past 2 weeks from this section. That's more than I've gotten the whole time I was here. So, who's going to fix ARF? Who's going to fix it? Is it me or is it you? Yeah, you guys better freaking fix it. But I'll tell you right now, some things are going to change around here. Some things are going to change. It is very, very disappointing. The one section that cannot afford to be divided is this one. You're the only section that is responsible for saving people's lives on this airfield. Being divided at a time like that is a no-go. Y'all need to figure out what it's going to take to build unit cohesion, section cohesion, and pull your heads out of your asses. Anybody still not know what I'm talking about? I'm pretty sure there's some of you in here who know exactly what I'm talking about. And you guys just were thinking, oh, we're going to do shit changing. And see, when we first started to come over. Have a chat. Yeah, this is wonderful. Listen, think what you want about me. You can call me stupid, that I don't deserve the rank I'm on. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Because at the end of the day, your opinion of me does not matter. What matters is my intent and my heart to do what is right, what I think is right for this command overall. You know, that it would seem difficult to understand that one time I was 23, 22, 21. All my kids are that age. And you know, at that time, I thought I knew everything. I thought I knew everything. Even in my 30s, in the Marine Corps, I thought I knew everything. I'm like, what the heck is that guy doing? Never once did I go downhill and be like, that guy's a jackass. Never once. Kept that stuff to myself. And I powered through that. And I realized that I was ill-informed. There's a reason why I wasn't in that position that that person was in. The level of stress on that individual. You know, last time I talked like this to my kids, they were like 10. You really had to snap them back in. They're like 10 years old. That was like a decade and a half ago. Yeah, here we are. I'm talking to you guys like you're freaking 10. It is sad. It is really sad that we have some very, very immature people. We have some go-getters. So the way I see it, you guys have 2 camps here. You have one who's going to continue to go on and do great things, and you have the other ones who are like, nope, wasn't me. I had nothing to do with me. That person over there. 2 camps. You guys are divided. And it's not half and half. There's a small group that's kind of on this side. There's a larger group that's on this side, which is good. It means the majority of you are contributors, not consumers. But the only way this is going to get fixed is if you guys do something about it. Unfortunately, I'm going to do something about it initially. I got like 20-something days left. And this is going to be painful. I've already talked to your OIC about it. He's like, yep, we got it. He's like, yeah, it's going to be painful. He's like, we'll figure it out.
All hands be advised, airfield be opening up top of the hour due to runway 02.
Guess still don't know what I'm talking about. You guys all, most of you filled out statements. PI, right? PI was not about one person, it was about your culture. And I know there's many of you have certain opinions about certain people. Very strong opinions about certain people. What I'm going to ask you is, what is your role? What's your role? What is your responsibility? As a Marine, first and foremost, anybody in here think they're a firefighter before they're a Marine? Yes, you do. Some of you do. I know you do. You don't have to raise your hand. That's fine. But we're ARF, then we're McCaff. Then we're Marine. No, hell no. And guess what? If I find that out, you will not be a firefighter anymore. He's not here. I will kick your ass across the street. And you can do administrative work. And why can I do that? Because if you are a really good order of discipline here, I'm going to rectify that. That means you can be over there freaking cleaning windows for all I care. You can use freaking hose and spray off the freaking cobwebs. See how that suits your freaking career progression. Some of your staff and COs need to slow it down and kick some of you right in the ass. Some of you need to lead up, kick others in the ass that aren't doing their job. You don't have to yell and scream at people, but you damn sure better freaking be firm but fair. And be able to tell someone, hey, I don't think that's the right thing to do. This is why. It's called a respectful appeal. Right? You don't MF somebody and be like, hey, screw you in front of a bunch of people. That's the wrong way to do things. Some of you guys are like, look at me. Yeah. Good. Good. I do not freaking care. I know I've done my part. A lot of you in here are doing your part as well. Some of you are not. Matter of fact, you are a detriment to the success of this section. And until you can understand that this is not about you, that this is about a larger objective, it's about the people that you work with, it's about the mission that you serve, until you can get that through your head, you're not going to succeed here. And in all honesty, I cannot wait to see you go. It'll be a fine Marine Corps day when you're not here anymore. Now, can you change that? Absolutely you can. Absolutely you can. But for some of you to place blame on whether it be your leadership or it be someone else in the section or in the unit for what is actually going on in the events that have occurred here is not only irresponsible, it's childish. Let's talk about Mobley for a second. All right? Just happened, right? If there was a problem going on before that, why did the anti-mouses come after that? If it was that big a problem. Some of you are like, well, now all of a sudden you're going to come over here and investigate? I should have done more. Maybe. But I'll tell you right now, you know who was in control of that whole situation? Corporal Mobley was. He was in charge of that entire situation. The only person that could have changed the course of history is him. Up until the point he was about to pull that trigger. He had a choice. And it's saddening to me that he made a choice that's a permanent decision. And my heart aches for his family. That's nobody's fault in here. No one could have prevented that. People make a decision, they make a decision, they're going to do it. They're not going to tell you. If I could tell you all the details of what happened, okay. That's interesting. But the culture here is not going to change unless you all change it. And until some of you decide to take yourself out of the equation and put others before yourself, it won't change. And some of you who are about the team and are about putting others before yourself, you have an obligation to ensure that you are leading down, sideways, and up. People are not pulling their weight. Pull them aside and be like, you need to get your ass to work. That's what Marines do. That's what I expect. If you're a staff NCO, these are not your friends. These are not your friends. You love your Marines, you don't ever fall in love with them. Why? Because sometimes it's just freaking business. And if they're not doing their jobs, then they need to be taught as such. NCOs, backbone of the Corps, right? Yeah, fucking prove it. Prove it. Because right now, it's a freaking limp noodle over here. You got freaking backbiting. It's like a bunch of high school kids. It's disgusting. Some of you are pretty far removed from high school. Some of you not. But take a look in the mirror. What are you going to do? What are you going to do about it? Just wait for someone else to come and fix your problem. And if you're quick to like point your finger at someone else, you better have some self-awareness and freaking take a personal inventory. How long have you guys been here? About a month. About a month. 2 weeks or 2 weeks. You're loving this right now, aren't you? You guys have been here for a while? Almost a year. Who's been here for 3 years? You've been here for 2 years? You guys are so right? You guys are the most impressionable people here. You don't know what you don't know. You're the future of the gap in our division. If you're in here and you are eroding good order discipline and you are impressing upon these young Marines right here that this place is effed up and that their leadership is effed up, and you're pulling them to your side, you need to go away. You need to go away. You need to go away fast. Or you need to fix yourself. We talk about honor, courage, and commitment, right? Some of you are core value bankrupt. You've put the core values on the ground and you've freaking stomped all over them. And yet you continue to wear a patch that has an eagle of an anchor, which for some of you, it's not even worth the freaking leather it's printed And yet, I'm expecting you to lead these young Marines right here. That's scary. That's scary. You can't even lead yourself. But you won't really figure out people. Not a good situation. Not a good situation. So what are you going to do about it? Just be like, I got much time left here. Don't give a shit. Okay, that's your prerogative. Some of you got maybe a year, 2 years left. Can be a good tour. Can be fucking miserable. We'll see what happens. Right? But I really need to take a personal inventory of what's going on in your head right now and how you're going to contribute. Because as far as I'm concerned, some of you threw away the bench a while ago. You're more concerned with being a firefighter than you are being a Marine. You are not firefighters. You are Marines. You happen to do firefighting type things. Is that how you see yourselves? Or you're like, yeah, I'm just trying to buy my time so I can get out and go work for like another really good fire station. And get mine, and I can go do my thing. Right? Do what you gotta do. But while you're here, you're either going to make a positive impact or a negative impact on people. And if you're going to have a negative impact on people, I'm going to have a negative impact on you. And I'll ensure that whatever it is that you're doing right now will stop. And you will go someplace else. And you can do whatever you decide it is you want to do over there. But you will not be in here. You guys are manpower shortage right now? Yes? No? Yeah. Buckle up. It might get worse. Because if you are contributing to the poor culture that you guys have over here, you will not be here long. And that will happen before I leave. So, 20-something days. This is really, really surprising to me. That everybody's like, Marcus is strong. I see you guys out in the Mayor's Cup, all that kind of stuff. You guys look like a freaking team out there. And yet, you're bickering and acting like high school kids when you're over here. It's a pretty good facade you got to put on. What the heck? What is going on? What has changed since you decided to enter the Marine Corps? That no longer are you about the person to your left and your right, but you're about me. Me. Wasn't me. It was that person. What's changed? Some of you have been here for a while. Some of you even re-enlisted. I don't know how that got by me. That's on me. Had I known that we were going to be right here, some of you I would not have signed the paperwork. I'd be like, nope, not recommended. Because you're poisoning the well. It's cancer over here. Well, what do oncologists do to work on cancer? They cut it out. Snip that shit right out of it. So, manpower is a challenge.
Always be advised, airfield is not open.
It may be more of a challenge. So stand by. Some of you may have to think about the idea and getting used to working for someone who's junior to you. If you are not capable of leading people, if you're not a positive example, or a good example of what leadership should be, then you can learn from a corporal, sergeants. And I don't care how it looks. Swallow your pride, suck it up, and do your fucking job. Does anybody have any questions about what I'm talking about right now? Any comments? No? You say whatever you want. One time. Freaking give it. Give it to me. Nothing.
I have a question, sir. So what I'm getting from this is like, I'm guessing a little bit of state for the PI, which is basically, shit talking other people.
Yeah. So the hangouses. Matter of fact, we got 3 in rapid succession, and I got one other one who is MFing somebody else. I'm like, wow, that was interesting. Didn't see that one coming. Very interesting. So when we talk about the PI is just a piece of puzzle. And again, it's not about any one person. That's about a culture that is being cultivated over here. And I think if you went across the way, I think you could ask people like, hey, what's the culture of the cat? Not representative of what is going on right now, at least what I've seen in the past several days, couple weeks. Some of you guys are disloyal to one another, and you probably don't have the courage to tell that person that you're just going to knife them in the back while they're not looking. Man, that's some coward shit. That's some coward. You have zero moral courage. Zero. If you can't go to somebody and have it because you have a difference with them, your differences, and you can't work those differences out by having a conversation, you are a coward. Absolute coward. Like I said, the only people that are going to fix this place is you. And if that means some of you have to step up, but this person needs to go. That person, or we're going to have some kind of freaking intervention. I don't care what it is you guys got to do, but y'all better figure it out. Because one of these times, I'm going to call Deputy Commandant for Aviation and be like, sir, we can't make mission today. Why not? Well, ARF is not mission capable. ARF is not mission capable. Why is that? Well, there's a loss of trust and confidence in many of the personnel that are over there, and so therefore they've been stripped of their qualifications, certifications, and they are no longer in exception for the time being. That's a wonderful conversation I'd love to have with the DCA. I imagine that it will be one way after that. We have a no-fail mission, right? No-fail mission. But I'm not going to brush something under the rug because we have a no-fail mission. If we can't make mission because heads need to roll, they're going to freaking roll. Now, we will talk to the monitor, and we will find out what they can help us with to make sure that we have the appropriate personnel to continue to prep our mission, to replace some of the cancer that's going on around here. This could take a little bit of time. But in the meantime, I expect you guys to figure out what camp do you want to be in? Want to be in this one? Or do you want to be in this one? You want to be part of the problem or do you want to be part of the solution? And If you want to be a part of the problem, like, great, but I would submit to you that maybe you need to ask them to go to a different place. Or we could send you somewhere else. I don't care. I mean, it's pretty easy to do, right? I will accept a loss of personnel and risk to mission. I will accept that risk over having a group of people over here that are undermining the authority and the mission of this section. It's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. I think before there was a period of time where somebody was like, the freaking Seabrook guys came over, but most of those guys are gone. Here we are. So it wasn't Seabrook. It was a weird time. A little bit different. Some of you have things to say about people who have come and gone here, like Lance Corporal Whitley or Pearsall or Staff Sergeant Alexander or whatever. Like, okay, go ahead, chuck your spears. Do you have any idea what the backstory is behind those things? And why those people are either gone or soon to be gone? Do you have any idea the backstory on that? Probably not, because you're not the commander and you don't get to know that information. Most of the stuff he doesn't get to know. He's my number 2 guy. He's my right-hand man. And there's still things he doesn't know. So to make your own judgment and spout off whatever it is that you want to say without being informed is, again, irresponsible. It's ill-informed. And you are poisoning the well by what you say. Keep those thoughts to yourself. If you have questions, you come and ask. I've had one individual in this entire command have the intestinal fortitude to come to me and say, hey, sir, yeah, that's a little harsh. I don't know. What do you want? But did you just in here and I asked if you had any questions? He's like, yeah, I don't want to say anything for anybody else. I figured out we could just talk personally. We had a conversation. Makes sense what you're saying. Let's do that. That's courage. You can't do that to the person who's the same rank as you, but I have started to come to the colonel and be like, hey, sir, I don't agree with your decision. Okay, tell me why. You can't do that to your peers. You rethink what your profession is. Because this is about relationships. This is about putting other people before yourself. And I know some of you are still looking at me like, when is he going to stop talking? It's just going in this area or the other. That's fine. But I can assure you, I'll leave you longer than you will. I've been in the Marine Corps as long as some of you have been alive. Longer than some of you have been alive. I'd say I have some level of experience with this kind of stuff. So for you to think that you know more than me about how the Marine Corps works and how to do things the right way, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I can tell you right now, I got a hell of a lot more experience than you do. Wow. I was coming into the Marine Corps, changing my kids' diapers. Y'all weren't diapers. Take that in perspective a little bit. Some of you weren't even born yet. Yeah, you think you know everything. You think that, oh, the commander's all effed up. how that works out. So it's on you. It's still on you to fix this. It just so happens that I'm going to do some stuff too. And I try to stay on it as much as possible. Why? Because that's how MCDP wants it. You know what that is? Yeah. Core doctrinal publication, warfighting club. Yeah. Centralized command, decentralized control. They issue vision, guidance, direction. People execute. They develop subordinates. And execute the mission, right? Isn't that what I give to you? Right? You develop staff and COs develop NCOs, NCOs develop everybody else underneath them, right? Some of you don't do that. So, I'm going to do some things to make sure we kind of start getting back on the right track. There's good order and discipline is broken down over here. Your OIC will remain. I think he's a darn good guy. And he's a hell of an officer. He's a new officer. He's trying to lead like when he was gunning. I'm like, he's like, I know. He's like, I'm learning that. And I'm like, this is part of the process. Learn how to think about things as an officer versus a gunner. Leadership principles are the same, but your level of responsibility and the stress that goes along with that is a little bit different. The perspective is a little bit different. He has nothing but the best intentions for all of you. And he loves each and every one of you. He's frustrated with some of you. And he continues to beat himself up. And he's like, why have I not been more involved? Because you're modeling what it's supposed to be modeled. His frontline people are staff and COs. That's reaching down to the NCOs and be like, what the frig are you doing? Staff and CO's job is that. If a master sergeant is coming down and correcting NCOs, and that means the staff and COs are not doing their job. Or it could be overreach. That's fine. We'll research all that. There's that too. But if NCOs are not taking care of stuff, you can be sure that someone is going to do it for you. Right? Someone is going to do it for you. I don't know about you, but I don't want anybody coming to my office and do my job. I'm a type A personality. Get the fuck out of my office. This is my command, not yours. So if you are an NCO and you have a team of people that you're supposed to be leading and developing, right? You guys all have that on your server, right? Leading subordinates, developing subordinates, ensuring well-being of subordinates. You guys have all seen that? Yes, no? Yeah. Do your fucking job! That's your job. If you can't do it, get out. You don't need to be here anymore. We don't want you here anymore if you're not going to do your job, because you cannot be relied upon when it matters. I will throw something back at you. Right? You think I don't deserve to wear the eagles on my collar? Some of you don't deserve to have sergeant's chevrons. Some of you don't deserve to have sergeant chevrons. And because you haven't done anything that requires disciplinary action right yet, I can't take them from you. But I can certainly limit your impact. I can limit your influence. And that can show up in your evaluations. Some of you are like, I don't care how much you get out, and I'm never going to come back. Okay, that's great. But you be that guy, that gal. Remember that consider the epitome of honor, courage, commitment, servant leadership. And some of you, the only transformation you made was at boot camp. Oh, freaking shock to the system. I'm so proud of that freaking Igno hanger on, right? That in your hand. Awesome. The reason why they came out with a book called Sustaining Transformation. Right? How do you sustain that? Some of you don't give a shit. What transformation? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a freaking firefighter. That's stupid. It's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. I'm an aviator. No, I'm not an aviator. I'm a Marine. What I did in the Marine Corps is I flew aircraft. What my number one responsibility was to be a good Marine. The most important MOS I ever had was a 9901 Basic Marine. That's the most important MOS identifier that I've ever had. 9901. Most important rank I've ever had was getting commissioned as a lieutenant. What a proud day. Some of you feel that way? The day that you graduated from boot camp, and you earned the title. Can you remember that? Remember, some of you can. It was like a day ago. Do you still think that? I venture to say some of you is no. I'm not going to tea anymore. Okay. Go have tea sometime. Firefighting is what you do. Leading people is what you're expected to do. Developing people is what you're expected to do. As you continue to gain in rank, responsibility and expectations will go up with them. And if you are not willing to move in that direction, in your mind, because that's where a lot of this crap is, right? You are not going to survive there. But I'll be damned if you're going to take people down with it. You're not going to take people down with it. Those of you who are just freaking crushing it, and I know you know who I'm talking about. I know you know who you are. You need to freaking grab somebody by the nape of the neck and tell me to get their shit in order or get the F up. Say you become like the 5 people you associate most closely with. Every single one of you here, I'm going to ask you this question. Who are you associating with? And is it beneficial to your future? Because if there's people who are toxic in your life, who are full of negativity, and they're pointing fingers at other people, you need to run. You need to run from those people. Because they're going to drag you down with them. And some of you do have great potential, who are kind of in that camp. But you're squandering it. You're not fully on the downhill yet, but I'm telling you, you're tracking that way. You be careful of your associations and who you're listening to. Tracking? This is not the fun part. Ever. Again, I expect more from Marines. I have never seen this ever in my entire 23 years. The level of disloyalty that's going on in this section. I've never seen it. For as long as many of you have been alive, I've never seen it in the Marine Corps. I've seen some disloyal people before, but never like this. Have you seen some people
I have, sir.
do some disloyal crap?
I have, sir.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are better at this, right? Right? Yeah? No? No, maybe you don't believe that. But I'll tell you right now, until you believe, the people that are expected to follow you, if you don't believe, they're not going. Has anybody ever read Extreme Ownership? Jocko Willink? Yeah? Pretty damn good book. If you don't believe in the mission, people you lead aren't. They're going to know that you don't. They're not going to believe it either. If you believe in what it is that you're doing, regardless of whether or not you're like, I don't know, but I understand why. And so you put your heart and soul into it, you believe in why we're doing it, people will follow you. But if you don't, you're going to breed negativity. It's going to drag people down. There's a great analogy in that book talking about boat teams at BUDS. You may have heard BUDS, like Navy SEAL training. And they give an example of these boat teams that they break themselves up into. They've got boat team 2 and boat team 6. Boat team 2 is a pretty solid Navy SEAL prospects out there. The guy who's leading is pretty good. It's pretty good. And those guys, they keep freaking winning. Keep winning. Keep winning. Boat team 6, there's some pretty good people. They're leaders. Just like when the fingers people. Ain't me. Dealt a bad hand. They lose every single time. Every time. Right? So do a little experiment. Take the leaders, just swap them out. Boat team 2, boat team 6. You guys are going to switch. Boat team 2 guys like, oh, really? He's like, okay, I got it. He's like, this is what it is. I'm going to go freaking execute. He's like, doesn't matter. This is the job. I believe in it. You make it happen. Even though he's known that they've been losing the whole time. The boat team 6 leader was like, this is the best day of my life. It's like, those guys are awesome. Finally got the right hand dealt. You guys go over to their boat team and they start on a race. And who do you think came in first? Boat team 6. Boat team 6. Boat team 6. Boat team 2 came in second. And why do I tell you that? Because initially, boat team 2, the leader set the vision, and he believed in what it was they were doing. He established a culture within that team that their performance was, here, right? Hey, we are going to strive for excellence. We're not going to bitch and complain as a team. We live or die as a team. We're not going to point fingers at people. We're going to accept responsibility. We're going to get it done. If we lose, we lose. We'll assess, we'll reassess, and we'll regroup, and we'll figure out what to go next. Right? Establish the culture in there. Did the same thing with boat team 6 afterwards. Believed in them. Right? Let them execute the mission. The boat team 2, the only reason they came in second is because the previous guy established a culture within that group. So those guys knew how to row hard. They rowed hard. This is what they were trained to do. Regardless of what the leader was doing. How good or how bad they seemed to think he was. So my question to you is, which team are you going to be? Right? Doesn't matter what you think of your leader. Do you know how to row hard? Because if you know how to row hard, and you know what's required to have the culture that you want, then why don't you have it? of you guys have all been taught this. It's not like I'm talking about stuff that just came up yesterday. Honor, courage, and commitment. That's the culture. Excellence. Not perfection, excellence. That's what's expected. When Americans hear the term Marines, they think excellence. They think all of us in our freaking dress blues freaking slaying dragons and shit, right? So this ain't new. I'm not telling you something you don't know already. So how do we end up in the boat team 6 at the outset? How do we end up there? Because some of you are rowing freaking hard, which obviously, like I said, you got people who are meritorious promotees, you got people who get awards left and right, Marines of the Year, all this kind of stuff. And yet, we're having this conversation, right? People are backstabbing each other. Pointing fingers. It's this person's fault because that happened. Wow. Bullshit. That's a bunch of bullshit. No one is responsible for what happened. If anybody's responsible, it's me. And I accept responsibility for that because I'm the commander and it happened under my watch. I own that. And those are the things I have to live with for the rest of my life. I had three Marines take their lives under my watch. Never once in my 23-year career have I ever seen that. Ever. And so I could have, after the first one, I could have freaking shriveled up and died. Like, oh boy, this is going to be a really bad year and a half after this. 2 years. Is this how it's going to go? I had a piss poor attitude for 2 years. And gone into a shell. Like, oh, I don't want to do anything because I'm afraid, I don't want to tiptoe on eggshells because I don't want to upset anybody. No, freaking row hard. That's what we do. Second one happened in less than 5 months. What the F? What is going on? Do you guys know the details of that? Anybody? No? You don't know the details of what happened? There's probably a reason for that. I'll tell you right now, you don't need to know. Two very, very, very different scenarios. Very different. Second one. Man, we had a great ball, too. It was freaking awesome. I had a blast. All out there freaking cutting the rug, carpet, whatever, I don't know, whatever it was. Had a good time. 248 years. The day after. We were here. We were here. What's going on? Could have freaking went into home. Fired. They're not doing anything unless you want to go. Bullshit. Reflect. Move on. Reflect. Move on. You gotta move on. This one's no different. You reflect. You fight the urge to place blame. Some of you don't. Some of you just like that. Fight the urge to say, I should have known. What could I have done better? Well, nothing, because what happened? You've been able to do something about it, or you had the ability to change the course of history. So where are you going to go from here? You can go into a shell. You can hide. You can point your finger at other people. Up, down, sideways. That's where all the fingers are freaking going all over the place right now. Somebody's to blame. We're going to place it on someone. What are you going to do going forward? only 2 years left. Yep. What are you gonna do? What are you guys gonna do? You let this be the norm? Or are you gonna shape the future? You're gonna shape it for the positive, or you're gonna shape it for the negative. Because this is not gonna go away unless you guys do something about it. And doing something about it is going to take some painful actions. You guys are gonna feel it. And when you feel it, I'm gonna ask you to fight the urge to bitch and complain about, oh, now we don't have any manpower, and the SEALs have more manpower, and we can't do anything. You might as well just shrivel up and die. Right? I don't know what to do. Or you can do what you came in to do and freaking be a Marine. Freaking pull up your freaking trousers, roll up your sleeves, and freaking get to work. Put in the time. Develop the people. You know why we develop our subordinates? It frees up your time to do things that are required at your level. That's why you develop them. And because they're expected to take your place. If you don't develop them, and then they take your place, and then they fail, guess whose fault that is? That is your fault. And you didn't put forth the effort. Are you doing things that are below your rank right now? Are you operating in such a way that you're not earning your rank? I am, because I'm in 05 command right now. That wasn't my choice. It's how it happened. But are some of you okay with doing Lance Corps work as a sergeant? Are you okay with that? I wouldn't be okay with that. Like, I'm a sergeant and I'm being treated like a Lance Corps. Well, you can act like one. Yeah, we're going to treat you like one. My kids are grown adults now. I treat them like adults. They're freaking act like adults. I would like to do the same for you all. Some of you I can, some of you I can't. Some of you have families, some of you got kids. Whew. Holy cow. Treat your kids the way you treat some of your junior Marines or people next to you. Oh boy. I hope that's a whole different conversation for you. Well, that's my family. Okay, well, this is supposed to be your family too. It's just different. Ain't the same, it's just different. But people are going to be looking up to you. And what are they going to say? I want to be like that? Or are they going to say, I'm going to keep moving forward, but great example of what not to do. All right? I've had plenty of those. And I've learned a lot from the good ones and the bad ones. You have to decide. You have to make a decision on what your future in the Marine Corps looks like. The closest alligator to the boat for you right now is, what does the rest of your time here at McCaff look like? Are you going to continue to bitch and complain about stuff that a lot of things you actually have control over? Like, it's actually within your control to actually affect change. Or are you going to continue to pass it off to someone else and say, oh, hey, I don't know, I am. I don't know why they're doing that. I haven't talked to them. I'm in my place. What? It's not your place. You are expected to hold each other accountable. All Marines are expected to hold each other accountable. And that's not dressing up one side and down the other. Be simple as I can. We talk. One side. some people will receive that well, and some people won't. And that's why you have to have courage to do it, because some people will react irrationally, and some will be like, hey, you know what? You're right. Thanks. I kind of lost in my own head there for a little while. Those people are coachable and teachable. The others are not. And it may take other measures to get them to that point, to be teachable and coachable. So what that means is you don't stop trying. Holding your brother or sister accountable, pulling them aside, talking to them, it only gets easier with repetition. The more you do it, the easier it becomes, and the better approaches you have in your toolkit to be able to address potential problems or behavioral things that are going on to help change and mold and shape your culture. If you are not an active participant in that culture, in the development of that culture, you're a problem. You are the problem. And if you're doing this, you are the problem. You are the problem. Not saying that that other person or that other group of people is not also a problem. But to me, that means that you haven't taken on your own personal inventory of what is going on in your heart, what's going on in your head, and the actions you have or have not taken. That's where the problem lies. If you're very ready to push that off on someone else. Accept personal responsibility. And get better. Everyone can improve. Everyone can improve in a myriad of different ways. I'm not talking like overnight, poverty to millionaire status. I'm talking 1% increase. Improvement. Just the freaking little things. You all have a vote in how this goes. When I make adjustments, you still have a vote afterwards. How are you going to respond to that? That is going to determine the rest of your time here. It may even determine the rest of your time in the Marine Corps, which for some of you could be 20 years. And what you do here, you will remember. And you may see similar situations. I hope to God you don't see similar situations like this in the future. But you have to decide, you have to make a decision of what it is you are going to do going forward. If you do nothing, Lieutenant Colonel Crum now is going to end up coming over here and being like, what the F? I thought you guys fix this. I guess you guys don't care. Is there anybody here who doesn't care? I know there's some. You don't raise your hand. It's embarrassing. And I'm not calling people out. I'm not going to do that. But I know who you are. And my call to action for you is take a look in the mirror. Take a look in the mirror. What are you doing? What are you doing with the people around you? What kind of mindset are you giving them by the crap that you're spewing out of your mouth? And the attitude that you have on a daily basis about your job, about the people to your left and right, about your staff and COs, about your OIC, about your CO. What kind of crap are you spewing out of your mouth? Are you contributing to the solution or are you contributing to the problem? And if you want to continue to contribute to the problem, we will find out and you will be gone. And it will be swift. First sergeant's like, hey, I've got an axe. I wield an axe. He's like, see what axe is bigger. Yeah. There's certain things that he can do that I can do a little bit more. It's not a threat. It's just good order and discipline has. I need to fix that. It's gonna require some action. So we're gonna take those actions. I don't have a particular timeline on that yet. See how that goes. But I'll tell you right now, you guys aren't going anywhere for a little bit. Because I know he's got some things he wants to talk about. Ushered's really, really happy about this whole situation. And I traditionally do not raise my voice. Nor do I cuss. Very rarely do you hear me do those things. You guys have really pissed me off. 20 days left. Man, some of you, like I said, awesome. You're really doing great things. You're gonna do great things. Some of you are not, but you can. You got more capable. Pay attention to do so. Some of you just like that, but it's not fair. Not fair. Okay. Selfish. Very selfish. You want to go ahead? Thank you for your question, by the way. Anybody else got any questions? Anybody having fun yet? Yeah, didn't think so. It's not fun. It's not fun for anybody. No questions. Any comments? Here's your one shot. We're in a closed room. No phones, nothing. You want to check a spear? Here's your chance. Yeah, good. You don't sit down. Sit down. This is informal.
It's not a spear though, sir.
Do you want one? You want a spear?
No, sir.
No?
Personally, even though I haven't been here for very long, I have noticed that a lot of the issues that we have is definitely a culture that's been cultivated by stagnation. And I believe that the first step we definitely take to resolving that is being the load that we're in. Instead of not growing, we should start actually growing, and then we can work toward growing part. I've noticed throughout the about month that I've been here, we've only been active and actually doing things a couple of days out. We've only trained about 2 times, and that was under Except Spitzer, who usually when he's here I know something, but it's don't have good. But I believe the first step that we can take toward that is being active in a training sense. Until then, we're just sitting around. Even when the day over, since we get break time, it's relaxation, as they say, but we're already relaxing a bit. In a culture where there's trust and a sense of belonging, there's a mission at hand. And the mission of the airfield isn't a mission card. Usually it's an act. So I believe our mission should be trained to where we're actually capable rather than just sitting there pretty much on the record.
Yeah. No, that's great. Great observation. Been here a month.
Yes.
It's one of the most profound and smart things I've heard in the past, I don't know how long. Thank you. That's really good. Who was on the run the other day? What were we talking about? Motivation? What about motivation?
You gotta be able to self-motivate yourself.
Intrinsic and extrinsic
So,
motivation.
like, having people cheering you on is great and all, but you have to have it in yourself to be able to
So what Wilhelm is talking about, that's how you pronounce it.
Yes.
What he's talking about is, hey, if we were more active, we wouldn't be sitting around like freaking pontificating our heads. Like, come up with how we solve the world's problems or make them worse, right? So if being more active is a recommendation to try to prevent the idleness, right? That's kind of what he's talking about, being idle. Whose responsibility is that?
That's at the NCO level, sir.
So what can you do?
For us, in like this last shift we went out there, once we had like a lull period for us, we finished our truck checkouts, we didn't have everything planned out until chow time, so we went out there and we were training.
Okay.
Priority is just planning our timelines and getting them all scheduled out.
So when you say training, are we talking just specific ARF training, or are we talking generalized training? Like we can go out PT, go shoot hoops.
Anything could definitely help, but I'm in this scenario, I'm especially talking about hard.
Okay. All right. Do you guys have a training plan for the month? Yeah. What does that entail? Freaking being on a computer?
No, sir. So we teach in-person courses, actual classes that we're supposed to schedule throughout the year, and then typically for the in-person training, like more hands-on. That varies. So we have a few of the newer guys who are still here, so we went over fundamentals, so just getting more used to how the trucks operate, and then as it goes on, they get more familiar with that, then we move into more. We'll teach a class on say like airbags and hydraulics, and we'll do a drill more situated towards maybe like recovery from a person in the box using hydraulics.
Okay.
It's a step by step.
So there's classroom training, there's discussion, there's kinesthetic learning, like hands-on type stuff as well.
Yes, sir.
How often is that occurring? Once a week? Twice a week?
Schedule depends, sir. It's all based on what how is and where that availability. But if we're doing the actual in-person courses, typically it's like one a day. If we're doing just the like PowerPoint presentation classes that we're going to teach, if not one shift, and then the actual hands-on training, we try to do at least once a shift.
All right. Okay, well, so I think what I'm just talking about is how do we stay active every day? You know, and it doesn't have to necessarily just be ARF training. There can be other things that are team building, camaraderie building within ARF. Right? It's, we're going to do specs, right? It's supposed to be a CAF camaraderie, like kick you in the ass kind of event, right? That's some team building. Right? People's feet are going to hurt. Anybody sore from the other day? Oh, yeah, you guys are all clean. Right? Yeah, it was great. Yeah. Go to Japan, go to Kintai Castle, I'm telling you. 700 feet up. For a mile and a half. Awesome. Are there other things that you guys could put on the calendar that are not necessarily specific to ARF training that is still like Marine Corps common skills? I'm not saying that doing ARF training is not important. It definitely is, because that's what you guys do for the Marine Corps. You need to be at your best at any given moment. One of the challenges of being here is the fact that those are the best maintained aircraft in the Marine Corps, so rarely do things happen. Although 2 months into my command, you guys are putting out a fire, right? Kind of important. You know, the HMX MV-22 is going to caught fire. Put it out. It was MV-22, right? Sure. Yeah. We get vans, we get circoms, whatever the case may be. That's the only thing that's happened. Oh wait, somebody had brake fire at one point. You guys put out brake fire.
Just hot brakes, sir.
Hot brakes. Okay, hot brakes. Everybody's jumping through their ass. Like, oh, it's hot brakes, and you gotta go do something, right? So yeah, you have to be prepared. That is one of the things when we talk about motivation, like we did on Wednesday. Many people are like, I joined the Marine Corps. I'm not really doing Marine Corps things here. No, you're not. I mean, you are, but you're not. This is where intrinsic motivation comes in. How are you going to get through the mundane, through the monotony of the same people where nothing's happening? You guys got to get creative. You guys have got to get creative. My expectation and the guidance that I've given is push leadership down to the lowest levels. Let the sergeants run the shops. That's the way it's supposed. If we were in combat, who's the freaking squad leader? Freaking sergeants. Run 13, 14 people through the freaking woods, right? Freaking bam! Freaking shoot people in the face. But it ain't the freaking colonel doing it. Why should that be any different here? Let the sergeants develop them and let them do the freaking job. Some of you have not been tested. It's not your fault. boot camp doesn't count. That's not being tested. That's like determine whether you're going to have a mental breakdown. That's it. I'm not saying it's not physical. It is. But it's more about the mental aspect of things and transforming you into a Marine. But you've not been tested. Truly tested. So how do you break through that? How do you break through the monotony? How do you prevent yourself from getting complacent? You want me to do that for you? Because I've had that question asked of me before. How are you going to fix this for me? Nobody can fix that for you. You need to fix it for yourself. And you have help along the way. Right? But you guys, maybe he's on something. How are you guys going to build your training plans to stay active? I mean, that's probably not the only answer. I'm sure there's other things that you guys can figure out to change your culture. But really what you guys need is you guys need to figure out how you're going to become a family. You guys freaking live here. And you guys are not like traditional brothers and sisters. Like, I expect a freaking brother to grab his sister by the hair and yank her downstairs. Right? I don't expect that here. The backbiting, backstabbing, high school bullshit, like that better stop. And you guys gotta have a freaking your own little powwow. Figure out, all right, I don't care if you guys gotta like get in a freaking brawl. Right? You guys wanna fight it out? Fight it out. I don't care. But y'all need to figure out where you as a section are going after this. Because it is truly up to you. We have more sergeants in this command than I've ever seen. I mean, I've never been in a battalion, so I'm sure there's like a gazillion of them there. But in a unit that's 150, how many sergeants we got? 40, 50? It's like a third of the unit is a sergeant. 60 NCOs. Who runs this place? Who runs this place? Yeah, who runs this place? At least that's the expectation. Is that the responsibility you guys might have? And you'd be like, yeah, I run the air facility. Yeah. Who actually does the work? You can put anybody's name on the sign. It's just a title. Doesn't matter. Who's truly doing the work? You are. You are. But I know for a fact that the culture over here right now is not the vision and the guidance that I have given. That is not representative of what I've told you. And that's my job. That is my job to ensure that I provide vision, guidance, and direction so that we can execute our mission. And I'm pretty sure it's pretty clear what my guidance for our culture is supposed to be. Right? Lead, develop subordinates. Teach them to do the same. Push authority down to the appropriate level of risk that they can make those appropriate risk decisions. What I have not said is, man, I don't care how you get there, or whose face you step on to get there. Just get there. Be the most ambitious person you can be, so you can get yours. Pretty sure I've never said that. There's no way I've ever said that. So, your call to action. Fix your house. Fix your house. And much like you all got together with your OIC, y'all need to get in a room. And I say just the NCOs. Just the NCOs need to get in a room You guys need to have some hard conversations. And if you get into that room and you're not contributing to the conversation, you might want to reevaluate. Because every one of you has a responsibility. If you are not contributing to that conversation, what are you contributing to? Sergeants and corporals need to get in a room and hash the shit out. And you need to stop placing blame on people when you have things within your control. Now, what I'm not telling you is don't submit anything else. That's not what I'm saying. If there's legitimately an issue with an individual that you cannot rectify at your level, well, first off, you go through your chain of command, right? If that's not working, there's a whole thing called a request mask. There's the anti-mouse program. There's IG complaints. And you can do any of those things. I would ask if you're going to submit an IG complaint, I would hope you consult with me first. Not that you have to, but like, how am I going to help fix something if I don't know what's going on? Right? The people who have the most impact are the people closest to those who are executing the mission. Right? How much work do you guys do? Lance Corporals, PFCs? How much work do you guys do? A lot, right? Like, you know, have you ever worked at McDonald's or anything like that? I did. I was yeah, freaking flipping hamburgers. The worst job I ever had. I'll tell you what, there's some grit in there because freaking greasy, it's grimy, nasty, right? How much do you think I was making? Minimum wage, $4.25 an hour. $4.25 an hour. Yeah, you guys think, well, $15 an hour. I'm making $4.25 an hour. You know who's making all the money? Freaking manager. Freaking manager. You think at any one point that manager might have been doing this at one point? Right? You guys are busting your ass right now. And you should be. Entry level, right? Shoot to the Marine Corps. If you started Major Marine Corps, guess what? He's a private one. Right? You think he's doing what he's doing now? What's his MLS? No, not that. What was his actual MLS?
Supply.
Supply. Okay. You've heard about these supply guys. Yeah, you see, there you go. That's the brightest. Send them to 2 weeks school to figure it out. Some point is doing that side. Flipping birds. Right? It's a play, whatever. Who is in charge of the work that they do? So, who has the most impact on the future of Marine Corps? Executors, kind of executors, but managers, like leaders, developing subordinates, right? The most impact happens at the NCO and below level. We have 50, well, we have almost 100 NCOs in this 150 person unit. How many do you think are in the Marine Corps? Who would you say has the most influence and impact? So, you guys can accept that? Accept the challenge? Do your job? You guys take names? Develop your subordinates? Get them to the point where you are? Have a lasting positive impact on them? You guys have no idea what type of impact you're going to have on the world. There's going to be things that you're going to do 50 years down the road. It's impacted somebody else. You might even be dead. You have no idea what kind of impact you're going to have on people. Second and third order effects of people that you've you've been in contact with. I know it's hard. I had this problem when I was in my 20s. Oh yeah, I gotta go. That's all right. I'm not making it. I had a very hard time seeing past the now. You guys may too. You guys may have a hard time seeing past the now. Take a step back. What kind of impact are you going to have in the future? What kind of legacy are you going to leave for those who come behind you? That's the decision only you can make. And you have the power to leave a lasting and positive impact on people. Don't strive to be the person they're like, I don't want to be like that guy. Does that sound like fun? Could it happen? Yeah, because we make mistakes, we're imperfect. And some people aren't forgiving. Shouldn't change what you're doing. Keep moving forward. You guys gotta make some changes. You guys gotta hash it out. We've had this conversation before. And I expect you're gonna do it this time. You fix yourselves, you'll fix the section. Have a heart to heart. Have the hard conversations. And if at the end of that conversation, there's still people who are like, yeah, I don't care. And that person needs to go. It ain't personal, just business. Don't make it personal. This is about you being able to execute your mission. Do not make it personal. There's a personal aspect to your relationships. That's not what this is about. Maintain trust and confidence. Execute your mission. Regain your core values if you've lost them. Build the team that you want to build. That is your choice. You have that control to be able to do those things. If you choose not to do that, you're going to stay right here. Or a whole bunch of people are going to be like, screw you, and they're going to freaking leave without you. Leave you in the dust. It's up to you. I'll actually leave it. All right. Good job, guys. All right.
Who knows what my job is? Anybody?
Advisor. Senior,
To who? To the commander. So how would I best be able to fulfill my job if I'm to get some advice? Anybody? If you're aware of the problem. I'm aware of the problem. So, that being said, I read each and every one of your comments for this investigation. I'm aware of what each and every one of you said. And I had to read it twice. Read it the first time, got my emotions out of the way. Went back to read it the second time. Calm, level-headed, and took notes. And we're going to have a discussion on what y'all said in order to get to fix our problem. And I say our problem because we are a family. I keep this patch, or a similar patch, just like I keep shit on my wall, because I was aviation ordnance coming up. Aviation ordnance in the aviation world, not that this is aviation, but in the aviation world, was known as the mafia. You wouldn't go anywhere without seeing a group of orgies. If you saw one, you damn know that there's going to be more around somewhere. And that's the way ours should be. That's the way McCaff should be. But we're not like that. So we're going to go through, and if these are your words, you may want to take note. This is your notice. The CO was wrong about one thing that he said. Just because you didn't do anything that's against the UCMJ doesn't mean you can't lose rank. I 100% differ with that. There's a process. It's called a CRB. Who knows what that is? Competency Review Board. If you are in a leadership role and you are not leading, guess what? You very well could find yourself as a fucking corporal or a lance corporal. Try me. I have the CO's here. You want to play your fucking games? I will play your fucking game. But I guarantee you I'm a lot better at it than you are. So, how many of you were present prior to Master Sergeant making corrections? If Master Sergeant blasted a fucking Lance Corporal for not having a haircut, how many of you were around before Master Sergeant got to that Lance Corporal? How many of you saw that Lance Corporal without making that correction? How many of you saw that Lance Corporal before the gunny saw him? Before the staff sergeant saw him? Before the sergeant saw him? Before the corporal saw him? Before the Lance Corporal saw him? Why did you not make a correction and wait for somebody else to do it? You scared? If you fear constant scrutiny, oh, he's going to yell at me. I got to walk on eggshells anytime I'm around him. Then why not be the proactive solution to avoid the reactive solution? Why am I going to wait for somebody above me to get pissed off when I can fix it at my level, and then they'll never get pissed off? That goes for the new guys too. Police your own. Police those above you. Just do attack them. Why wait for somebody else to make a correction when I could do it myself? There's a saying that we have on the depot. A recruit is always doing wrong. Not a single time in the day that a recruit is not doing something wrong. If you pass a recruit without making a correction, you are wrong. If you pass the lance corporal, a corporal, a sergeant, hell, even one of your staff sergeants, and they're fucked up, and you don't make the correction, now you're fucked up. And that's a lot of what our problem is. Everybody's too scared about making corrections. This is a likership problem, what I've come to realize. Just had a PME the other day with staff and COs. Staff and COs that was there. What's your primary MOS? Primary MOS is leadership. You're too worried about fucking likership. Does my Marines like me? Does my peers like me? That's very well. They could like you. Sure, fine, whatever. But don't lose any sleep if they don't. If you hurt their feelings because you make a business decision, it's their feelings that are hurt, not yours. We have a likership problem. Too worried about the approval of your subordinates than you are about leading your Marines. When several Marines express the same fear, it signals a systematic issue that must be addressed. Well, guess what? You're probably part of that problem because you're not addressing it yourself. If it is a systematic issue, have you addressed it with the individual that you're complaining about? Have you sought out their attention? Have you sought out to have a discussion with them, figure out where they're coming from? My guess would be no. Again, back to before, why make him play the role of the enforcer or the fixer? Why not be that person? Why not solve it at your level? Quit waiting for everybody else to do it. And again, we're going to go through, and it's going to sound like I'm saying the same shit over and over, but I went through every page, every comment, and I wrote down notes on each one. So a lot of them are probably going to sound the same, just so you're trying. The Marine Corps did not join you. Plain and simple. You joined the Marine Corps. him being tough or mean could be him caring. But with new Marines coming in, the society's culture has shifted, making him be viewed as hostile. What the fuck does that even mean? You think, how many of you have ever deployed to a combat zone? I have. 3 times. You really think ISIS gives a fuck about your feelings? You really think they care about what American society is? Absolutely not. How many of you were alive when Somalia happened and pilots were dragged through the street, hung from bridges naked? How many remember seeing those pictures on live TV? How many people you were alive and watched 9/11 happen? I did. Live TV, people jumping out of however tall that fucking building was, jumping out of the windows because they didn't want to die in the fucking building, so they jumped out the window instead. On live TV. You really think these people care about your feelings? Oh, Messern yelled at me. I'm sad. Boo the fuck who? You really think ISIS cares? Like I said, you joined the Marine Corps. The Marine Corps didn't join you. Be the leader you expect out of others. Ask yourself, what's my role? I just did a PME with the staff NCOs. The title of that was, what's my role? What is my position and what am I supposed to do? As a staff NCO, I should be focused on the little things. Yes or no? No. Whose job is that?
NCOs.
Why are we leaving for the staff NCOs focused on the Why are you going to paint me or your gunnies or your staff's arms into that box? Why are you going to paint them and make them the ones that have to do that role? One person's leadership style or lack thereof is no excuse for your own lazy leadership style. If you don't like the way somebody's leading, guess what? You may not be able to change that. But that doesn't mean it affects you. If you don't like the way somebody does something, then do it a different way. That is a harm to say within your right as a person, right? Not any one person leads the same. You take the good and you take the bad and you make your own. If one bad leader is making you question your choices, it sounds like you're looking for a scapegoat to feel better about yourself. How many times has an Alpha Marine been late to work? Let's see. You've been here for a while. How many times have you been late to work?
0.
What about you? What about you? What about you?
Couple.
What about you? Staff sergeant? What about you? What about you? What about you? What about you?
2 times for a shot.
What about you?
Never.
What about you in the back? Yep.
Never for sure.
What about you? Okay. So the majority is 0, right? Why am I asking this question? Who's got a hunch? So I'm about to hurt your fucking feelings right now.
I'm guessing someone brought it up.
Hmm?
I'm guessing someone brought it up that was
No, somebody did bring it up though. How many times was Corporal Mobley late to work before the morning of April 7th?
Very large amount of time.
A large amount of time. So who sees the problem with Massart and his reactions to the way he handled that whole situation? Somebody did, because they wrote it down. And they put it in their fucking comments. Let's see, I think I have the quote too. Let's see. Before I get that far, does you being late to work trigger a red star cluster each and every time you're late to work?
I didn't write this one. I just would like to speak on this one, if that's fine.
Go for it.
So the reason I think some people are taking that situation is a little bit different than normal. When Mobley was late prior, maybe 1-2 phone calls, he'd wake up, answer the phone, pretty much do the normal, oh no, I'm late, I'm getting there as fast as I can, he'd get here. I think that morning before it had even made its mask on, I think the reason everybody's kind of like, I wouldn't say like exaggerating, like bringing that one up is there. I think they had made like 48 phone calls at that point, nothing had gone through. And I think that's why the worry was set in, and that's what was getting transferred across. And that's why the Marines were talking about it was getting blown off, because this wasn't a normal, oh, he missed 2 phone calls. It was a constant, we're trying to get in contact with this Marine can't be contacted. And I think there was the Snapchat was brought up too, where this Marine's in a weird, strange location far away, and nobody can get in contact with him. That's from my perspective, first sergeant. I didn't put the comment in there.
No, that's fine.
That's
And
all I'm saying.
it's good to hear different perspectives. Like, I'm not trying to push my perspective on everybody else. I'm just showing you probably a way that you didn't look at before. Just because he didn't answer the phone. How many times, who's ever been drunk, passed out, and then woke up to having a shit ton of missed phone calls? Who's to say that's not what happened? Just another way to look at it, different perspective. Not right, not wrong, but a different perspective. Not poking holes, not pointing fingers. So now, from what I read is every time somebody's late, I'm expecting a red star cluster. Oh fuck, you're late to work. Alright, cool. Be in line for NJP. That's what we want, right? We want the red star cluster to go up.
So I have a comment about that.
Okay?
The only thing I can think of is, especially for like red star cluster comment, is there was another Marine, he's in rehab right now.
Who knows what was going on in Corporal Mobley's personal life? Who knows if he had a girlfriend, fiance? Who knows if they were having relationship issues? Who knows if his parents were having relationship issues? Who knows if his sister was having relationship issues? Who knows if his favorite dog died? Who knows if his favorite teacher just got in a car wreck and died? Who the fuck knows that? Do any of y'all? So how are you going to sit here and try to tell me or tell the CO that this environment caused Corporal Mobley? You don't know that. He made a very personal decision to turn a temporary problem into a permanent solution. Very deliberate in what he did. Like the CO said, I don't know all the details, but I know more of the details than what you do because I'm the one that was talking to the fucking sheriff. You can't sit here and tell me that ARF is the reason that he did what he did. Do any of you have a suicide note from him? Anybody? No, you don't. So you don't know what was going through his head. How many of you believe that any one chief can dictate the frequency of all hands events? How many of you think that Master Sergeant Chapman has the ability to dictate an all hands event? Somebody obviously did. Sorry, you don't have to raise your hand. I guarantee you now, Master Sergeant Chapman is one of the most outspoken individuals when it comes to all hands events. On your behalf. But yet you want to throw him under the bus and say that, oh, he doesn't do anything for us and he's all about these all hands events. No, he's not. You know who he gets his information from? Me. You know how many people that got selected from ARF to go do First Sergeant Smart's retirement? I selected the numbers. based off of fucking MOL end strength. So if you got a problem with it, come right over down to my office. My door's open. I'm in there a lot. You think it hurts my feelings that you may have to work extra? Who the fuck who? How many 7.2s you get a week? Or a month? More than anybody else in this command. I think you could afford to lose an hour or two to do a fucking practice. I have grad practice scheduled for 2 hours. Who's in grad practice this week? Who's been doing it? How long have we been out there? 1 hour. We run through it in an hour. So you're not even there the whole fucking time that it's scheduled for you to do practice. But yet we want to bitch and complain because we have all hands events. You want to bitch and complain? We hate this place because we don't do Marine Corps shit. We don't do anything together. Oh, okay. Who was there for the run on Wednesday? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many people does it take to run a shift? 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That means this whole half of the room should have been there. 12 if you count the tower. How many people you were there? 5. See, you want to bitch and complain that shit doesn't go your way, but you're not willing to put in the extra effort either. Plan for these things because it happens. How's this a derogatory phrase? And this is well before Corporal Mobley's time. Plan for the worst, hope for the best. Be polite, be kind, but have a plan to kill everybody you meet. How are these derogatory terms? Your spouse's schedule has no bearing on your work schedule. I've already asked how many of you deployed, so that takes care of that one. How many of you missed a deployment because of your spouse's schedule? How many of you missed the birth of a child because you were deployed? How many of you missed a birthday because you were deployed? How many of you missed a funeral because you were deployed? But yet somehow you get promoted, you get more responsibility, but you don't want to switch shifts because, oh, my wife's schedule won't allow it. Nobody gives a fuck about your wife's schedule. Sorry, if it hurts your feelings, maybe your feelings need to be hurt. Like I said before, you joined the Marine Corps. The Marine Corps didn't join you. This isn't fucking Stafford County Fire. And if you don't like that, oh well. This is a business. Marine Corps comes first. The work climate at ARF, and I quote, will not improve if Master Sergeant Chapmans remain in charge. I respectfully and tactfully request a review of Master Sergeant Chapman's leadership and its effect on the unit. You know what that sounds like to me? There's a naval term that falls under. It's also in the UCMJ. What term am I referring to?
Uni.
It's a fucking mutiny. Unless you remove the one person that holds me accountable, nothing's going to get better. That's what I hear. If you do not cave to my wishes, I'm going to poison the well, and nothing will get better. Is that what we have going on here at Mutiny? The investigation was done to investigate the culture, morale, and professionalism within ARF. That's from the CO himself. That's what was signed on the fucking letter to the investigating officer. Investigate the culture, morale, and professionalism within ARF. Nowhere in there does it say you are to investigate Master Sergeant Chapman's actions. And that's what we want to put up is he will, or I respectfully and tactfully request a review of Master Sergeant Chapman's leadership and its effects on the unit. Very well. The work climate at ARF will not improve if Master Sergeant Chapman remains in charge. Sounds like a mutiny or a coup. And there are ways to solve that. Immoral, unethical, and illegal. What does immoral mean? Not rhetorical.
Pretty much going against your beliefs, or whoever should feel something should.
Going against someone else.
You feel, or because everybody has different feelings.
Going up against someone else's personal beliefs. It's not unethical. It's unethical.
Well, I'm on immoral right now. Define immoral.
Moral is going up against, like, if I were to do something that's against Sergeant Willis's beliefs, but he believes what I did is immoral, but it could still be moral in my perspective.
Okay. Define unethical.
I was just gonna answer immoral, but
Yeah.
unethical would be ethics fall under the gray area of morality. So unethical is you don't exactly know, but you subjectively feel like what you see or what you might be doing may be wrong in a moral gray area.
Define illegal.
Against code of conduct, UCJ.
If you're told to go to medical because you feel sick, and you're already off shift, so you've been sick all fucking day, and now it gets towards the end of the day, and you're like, you know what? I'm still sick. I don't feel like doing this. Hey, I'm just gonna go to sick call in the morning. Why? Because apparently you're not that sick. When you're told, take your ass to urgent care. Go now. Oh, but you're being a bully. You're telling me to go do something on my off time. Well, apparently you're not that sick then. If you're not worried about it on your own time, then why the fuck are you worried about it on the Marine Corps time? Not your staff sergeant's time. Not your gunny's time. Marine Corps time. Taxpayers are paying you to be at work, right? Right or wrong? So if you were at work and it wasn't a big enough deal then, you're at home, it's not a big enough deal now, but it's going to be a big enough deal in the morning that, yeah, I'm just going to go to sick call and I'm not going to show up to work anymore when I have to. How does that make sense? Because that's a complaint. On top of that, we want to get onto that whole subject. Oh, I don't feel like doing it, so I'm just going to go in the morning. I'm going to go to sick call in the morning and waste 2 hours at sick call. You think your shift is going to be shorthanded? Because you're at sick call? No, I'm not saying don't go to sick call. If it's a legitimate thing, sure, by all means, go to fucking sick call. Nobody's holding that against you. Nobody's telling you you can't go to medical. But if you're going to sit here and say, no, I'm not going to do it on my off time because it's digging into my time, I'm going to wait till tomorrow to go to sick call so that way I'm doing it on your time. You're doing it on each other's time. If you have an 11-man crew, one person goes to medical, now the other 10 have to fill up and do your job. And if I'm not mistaken, in the morning, when you would be at sick call, is when you start getting shit ready for the day, right? Now, I'm not going to pretend like I know what ARC does, but I watch TV shows. This is where you would do your fucking waxing the fire truck or rolling hoses or doing whatever, right? Getting your bunker gear together and put outside the trucks. Now somebody has to do that shit for you. Again, not telling you don't go to medical. I am not saying that. If you have a legitimate issue, go to medical. But if it's a legitimate issue, then you could damn sure do it on your own time as well. Especially if you were at work all day, not an issue. I'm going home, not an issue. Show up to work in the morning, fuck that, it's an issue now. Absolutely fucking not. That means you are playing the system. Who disagrees with me? This is your chance to. Who disagrees? Who thinks I'm wrong?
I'm not saying you're wrong, first one. This is just one of those things for the, if they don't want to go on their own time, urgent care. Another perspective kind of hit on one is, say I have, Corporal Bodensteiner over here. Corporal Bodensteiner starts getting sick in the first day on his off day, and he's not fully, like, in like the late stage, he's getting like the flu, but it starts out as like a sniffle, he's feeling a little sick, his throat's a little itchy, but he's not terrible off, and then that next day, or like later in that day as the day progresses, when he starts getting to the point where he's like, I'm probably going to work in the morning, I am severely at the flu stage now, and he's sick, and that's when he's planning on just going in that next morning.
So not at night when he realizes, oh, I'm actually sick. Yeah, could wait till the morning.
Sometimes they don't know where to go in the first place for a start, because they can't go on base.
When you make a phone call, hey, I'm not showing up to work in the morning, and then you receive a phone call, go the fuck to urgent care. How hard is it to find an urgent care? Who has a phone? Who has a smartphone? Everybody. Find an urgent care. Find an urgent care. How hard was that?
Not the result.
And I don't technology. I fucking hate technology. And it's not that hard. So you can't sit here and try to tell me, oh, well, they didn't know where to go. No, they're being fucking lazy. They're being selfish. Regardless if you think so or not. That's the underlying issue. If it's big enough deal to come in the next day after being sick all day, after being sick all night, and then try to go to medical the next morning, that's you being fucking selfish. Oh, but now it's illegal, immoral, and unethical because he told me to go to medical and I said no, I didn't want to, so he refused me to go the next morning. And then he would risk putting everybody else at risk for getting sick. No, you did that. You put everybody else at risk for being sick because you wanted to be fucking lazy and not go to medical on your off time when you initially thought that it would start to become an issue. Sure, all day, the day off, yeah, you may not think it's a big deal because it's not getting worse yet. By the end of the day, if you're sick, you're going to know by the end of the day by the time you go home. So you can't sit here and be like, oh, well, no, I'm not going to go. I'm just going to wait till the morning. If you're told to do something and you have a leave request in, you put in that leave request yourself. I will have this done before I check out on leave. You check out on leave. Come to find out you didn't do what you said you were going to. Whose fault is that?
Your own.
You sure it's not my fault? You sure it ain't my fault? Now, Master Sergeant brings up this issue to the Command Senior Enlisted. Okay, very well. Command Senior Enlisted takes it to the CO. Why do I take it to the CO? Does everything need to rise to his level?
No.
So why do I take this to the CO?
No recall.
Because the CO is the only one that can recall you. You don't want to hold up your end of the bargain? Why the fuck should the command be held to theirs? It's a two-way street, right? Mutual respect. You tell me you're going to do something, you're going to fucking do it. or you're not gonna do what else you wanted. And while we're on the subject, just because you pay for something, you think you automatically get it? Because it comes out of your pocket? You know how many Marines have had to cancel leave and not receive money back for their plane ticket because they already bought a plane ticket? A shit ton that I know of. Just because you pay for it out of pocket doesn't mean you're guaranteed it. Sorry. It's not the way shit works. Like I said, this isn't fucking Stafford Fire. You think I get everything I want? Absolutely not. You think I've ever gotten everything that I've always wanted? Absolutely not. Sometimes you have to suck the fuck up. And in order to avoid that situation, I don't know, maybe do your fucking part. Hold up your end of the bargain. If I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to damn well do it. And if not, then I don't expect you to hold up your end of that bargain either. Plain and simple. But yet I'm going to bitch and cry and complain. Oh, Master Sergeant threatened to recall me from leave. Actually, he didn't. He was directed to inform you that you could be recalled. Now, whether or not he's put it in such a word, doesn't fucking matter. Again, this is you speaking, thinking you have the whole story. Thinking you're right in the gospel because you only have a piece of the story. Or you're only putting in your perspective of the story. Unprofessionalism, lack of self-awareness, blatant disregard of rules, and lack of values. This is what I see coming out of our. Yeah, you want to point fingers. Probably time you start to look in the mirror. Stop blaming the chain of command over your own personal problems. How many of you were in the car with Mobley? How many of you have a suicide note? Stop acting as if you know why he did what he did. Told you, we're going to go all over the place because everybody's comments were different. Explain to me how this command, my favorite line, and I quote, "This command is the most openly corrupt and anti-empathetic group of individuals I have ever met." This command, most openly corrupt and anti-empathetical group of individuals you've ever met. So the CO is corrupt. The XO is corrupt. I'm not even talking about me because I've only been here for 5 months. Your chief warrant officer is corrupt. Your mess sergeant's corrupt. Your gunny's corrupt. But yeah, this is the most corrupt and anti-empathetic group of individuals you've ever met. Who's ever heard the saying, "You bitch up, not down"? Why would a staff sergeant confide and discuss personal matters with a sergeant? Okay. Why would a sergeant confide and discuss personal matters, their own personal matters, with a lance corporal? No takers?
Because they're confused and think there's friendship.
Exactly. Like I said before, it's a likership problem. You're too worried about being liked than you are too worried about leading. And if you think I'm taking a personal stab at any one particular staff NCO, that's fine. I will more than gladly tell them to their face, as I have. You think I haven't called a staff NCO a lance corporal before? Oh, I absolutely have. If I'm back in my old MOS as an aviation ordnance man, We have quals just like y'all do, right? Thing called a quaso, quality assurance safety observer. You can't hang a bomb on a jet without having a team leader. Team leader is the one that runs that evolution. The team member is the one that hangs the bomb on the jet. The quaso is the one that oversees that entire evolution. Team leader runs the evolution, quaso oversees it. If I, as a quaso, take leave, you think Sergeant Galoza, as a team leader, could do my job? Not without the qual. He may sure be able to do it, but he can't do it because there's fucking legal tied to it. If that airplane crashes, and it comes down to the fact that it crashed because that bomb fell off the airplane when it wasn't supposed to, and it took out the rear stab, and now that airplane crashed and that pilot died, who do you think is going to be held liable? The person that signed off that aircraft safe for flight. Guess who signs off on that aircraft safe for flight? The quaso. You think a team leader can take that responsibility? No, because they don't have the qual. So if you get told you can't take leave because you don't have somebody with that same qual to replace you, you know what that sounds like to me? It sounds like a you problem. Why do I say that? Any takers? Why is that a you problem?
You should train somebody to take your spot.
Holy shit. I didn't even tell him the answer, and that's fucking simple. Maybe you should take the time to train your replacement. If you ever get to the point where you are the single point of failure, you fucked up. Do you hold any special quals? Cool, you're a driver, right? There's only one driver at ARF. Nobody could drive the fire truck except for him. He doesn't take the time to train anybody. He gets in a car wreck on his way home and dies. Who the fuck's going to drive the truck tomorrow? Are you going to do it?
Campers are.
Are you going to do it?
Campers
Are you going to do it? If you ever find yourself as a single point of failure, you're the fucking problem. If you can't take leave because you don't have a replacement, because they don't have that qual, you're the fucking problem. Maybe you should let your peers quit sitting on their ass and make them do something. Maybe you should, I don't know, lead your subordinates and get them a fucking qual. If you are the single point of failure at any given time, you are the problem. Anybody could do my job. Any mass sergeant could do an 8999 job. Can any first sergeant do a mass sergeant's job? Nope. I don't know the first thing about ARF. You know how hard it is to do admin and legal shit? Not very. Can Gunny do mass sergeant's job? So is mass sergeant a single point of failure? Can staff sergeant do Gunny's job? So is Gunny a single point of failure? If I have this qual and I'm the only one, am I the single point of failure? And why is that? Because I allowed that to happen. Probably, and this isn't a guarantee, but probably because I'm using me as a fit rep billet. I am one of one. I'm special. Look at me. Until you're not, and then what happens?
Can I say something
Yep.
on that? I don't think the problem was specifically about the clause. It was mainly the complaint of the inconsistency of the rules in order to put in leave. Because before that came about, you just need a number, someone to cover, as long as there was drivers and stuff, or whatever that person else taking leave had. Then after a certain event happened, I think that's when people start noticing that, now it's required for all these quality stuff in order to take leave. When before, it was just as long as you have coverage.
Yeah, I get it. Like, I'm not saying that the way that it was gone about was right or wrong. But at the same time, I opened up my statement with, like, what I used to do, right? I can't have a team leader sign off on a Quazo's job. Same thing with ARF. You can't have a non-driver drive a truck. It's the same thing. So regardless about how it went around, whether it came from something else and it happened as if it was punitive in nature, maybe that's how it came off. I'm not saying that that's wrong or right. It could have came around the very absolute most possibly wrong way in situation that it came into effect. But nonetheless, it is still a thing. You still can't have a non-driver drive a truck. You still can't have somebody that doesn't have a hose qual run the hose or whatever ARF does. Like, I'm not trying to pretend like I know what ARF does, so if I sound like an idiot, I probably am. But you can't have a team member fill the Quazo job just because the body's for a body. Even if it came about in the absolute most wrong way, it is still factual. So for the staff in the room, staff sergeant, Gunnies, it's just shit that you should be tracking, right? So it should never get to master sergeant's level. No, the sergeant should be the ones tracking it because y'all are the ones running your shifts, right? Y'all are the station captain?
Staff sergeants are the station captains.
What's that? What's below them?
Lead firefighters.
Okay, so y'all are like the fire team leaders, right? The sergeants? You should know what's going on in your fire team. You should know that if, hey, I got this Marine taking leave. If he has no quals, easy. Body for body. But if he has specific quals and you need those quals on your team because nobody else on your team does, then you have to get somebody with those quals. If you have somebody on your team that already has those quals and he has those quals too, then a body for a body. But that's up to y'all to determine. But y'all should be working that internally, not waiting for it to get to master sergeant's level for him to make it come down like he's being a dickhead or an asshole. I mean, either way, regardless if he is or not, a qual for a qual is the way it should be ran. And if it wasn't done before, it needs to be now. Because if something happens on that flight line and a pilot dies, everything from whoever saved for flight that aircraft to whoever was there on scene to try to put it out will be put under a microscope. And if you have a bunch of team members doing other jobs, like a team leader or a Quazo job, then there's bigger issues and people's heads will roll. Mainly the man that sits right there in that office. Not Master Sergeant, the one above him. The chief warrant officer. Because he's the one that ultimately signs off on the risk that everything ARF does. And then from him, it goes straight to the CO. I quote, this one's good. I will be making sure everyone in this country knows how god-awful men with power can be to the kids who volunteer to serve this country. Really? Really? Okay. Call CNN. Call Fox News. See how that works out for you. Good luck. And I'll leave that one there. But I'll let y'all ponder on that one for a bit. How does the chain of command work? Do I need your master sergeant, gunnery sergeant, or even your staff sergeant, or your chief warrant officer's permission to do anything? Why?
You're the senior enlisted advisor.
I'm the senior enlisted advisor. Does your master sergeant need your gunnies, your staff sergeant, or your sergeant's approval before he makes a call? What about your gunny? Does he need your staff sergeant, your sergeant, or your corporal's choice before he makes a call? What about you sergeants? Do you need your corporals, your lance corporals, your PFC's opinion before you make the call?
No.
Corporals, do you need your lance corporal or PFCs?
No.
Lance corporals, do you need your other lance corporal or PFCs opinion before you make the call? I don't know if you'll understand, but the chain of command works one way. This is not a democracy. We may live in a republic, but this is not a democracy. This isn't the most votes decides what we're gonna do. It's not the way that works. It's not even the way that works in this country. This is a constitutional republic. There's a difference. If you don't know that difference, I would recommend researching it and looking it up. Just because you think you're good doesn't mean you are. Back to a previous point. Who tests the sections for First Sergeant Smart's retirement?
You person.
I did. My name's on that LOI, not Master Sergeant Chapman's. Master Sergeant Chapman bitched and complained about it. He fought for you guys, but yet y'all want to throw him under the bus. Ooh, my favorite. Who knows what skill bridge is?
Privilege.
Ah! A privilege, not a fucking right. So whichever one of you wrote, oh, and you're denying me a skill bridge. Guess what? It's not guaranteed. Get over it. I don't personally agree with the skill bridge anyway, but that's my own opinion. You're removed from civilian life by 2 weeks. I'm removed by civilian life by 20 years. And guess how much longer you get in skill bridge than I do? What's skill bridge used for? To help you gain a skill to become a better fucking part of society, right? You get up to 120 fucking days of skill bridge. I get 90. I've been far removed from being a civilian for a long time, but I have a shorter time to transition than you do. And that's if I'm even approved skill bridge. So again, skill bridge is a privilege, not a right. So quit and thinking you're entitled to anything, because you're not. You have to earn your way, just like I have to earn my way. Just like Gunny's got to earn his way. Just like Sergeant has to earn his way. Just like Staff Sergeant has to earn her way. Ain't nobody giving jack nor shit. You have to earn it every day. And if you're a fucking turd and you suck, then yeah, you're probably not going to get skill bridge. Because did you earn it? CO was talking about how he's got ways to fix problems. There are two very easy ways to fix this problem. You either fix it internally, or I will highly recommend that the CO fix it. And you will not like the way that CO fixes it. Because some of you that are close to getting out, you'll get an extension, an involuntary one on legal hold. Because the court-martial process is not a short one. Neither is NJP. So y'all want to play with fire? You can play with fire. I'm not going to tell you what the CO will do because I'm not going to paint him into a box. I'm just informing you that he has options. You may not have to do anything against the UCMJ or illegal, but he has options. CRB. You may think you're safe, but you're not. I'm not talking to all of you, just certain ones, and you know who you are. And if I'm talking to you, then maybe you should take the time and look in the mirror before it becomes a reality. Because the CO is very close to being at wit's end with the shit that's going on. Any questions for me? All right, Steph and CO stay behind. Everybody else get out.
We haven't called push pull.